Trump's DOJ's incompetence is on full display under former Fox News anchor Jeanine Pirro. The former Fox News anchor was appointed by Trump to be the U.S. attorney for Washington, D.C., and she was in fact confirmed by the Senate, unlike some of his other appointees. Well, as it turns out, under her leadership, there is an astonishing 21% dismissal rate for criminal cases compared to 0.5% rate over the prior decade. My name is Dina Doll with the MeidasTouch Network. Let's get into this. Now, this is just another example of what we're seeing in real time, where we're seeing the DOJ fail to be able to secure either indictments or convictions, despite the fact that they have been trying many times. Now, Jeanine Pirro did have some legal experience prior to being a Fox News anchor. This is why she was actually able to get confirmed by the Senate. She had served as a district attorney and she had served as a judge. But just like everybody who got appointed in Trump world in this 2.0 second term, she was so extremely politicized. And we know this because of what she had said on Fox for years. Let's take a listen to what she said back in 2017 about how she thought the DOJ should be handled before she then became a head of the part of the DOJ. Take a listen.
There is a cleansing needed in our FBI and Department of Justice. It needs to be cleansed of individuals who should not just be fired, but who need to be taken out in handcuffs. Now, there have been times in our history when corruption and lawlessness were so pervasive that examples had to be made. This is one of those times. Handcuffs for Andrew McCabe, Deputy Director of the FBI, the man at the hub, protecting Hillary and attempting to destroy Trump.
The irony, of course, is that cleansing of the DOJ that she speaks of. Not only can she not effectively go after and obtain indictments and criminals, having this astonishing 21% dismissal rate, but lawyers are leaving in droves. And so the cleansing that she actually meant, she wanted to go after political figures in the Democratic Party. Instead, what happened is career prosecutors left in droves. According to the American Bar Association, thousands of lawyers across the country under the DOJ have left the DOJ. Jeanine Pirro herself said that they need to recruit more and tried to argue it was because they hadn't hired enough lawyers in the past. But that's not true. She has lost at least 90 lawyers just herself. The fact is, as the American Bar Association so reasonably puts it, the reason why lawyers go into government legal work versus private practice, where they're often paid more, is because one, job security. Usually government employee has job security. And two, because they believe in the work they do, they believe in public service. Both of those things, public security, job security, and public service have been completely demolished under Trump. For one, we saw what he did, Elon Musk and DOJ, and this complete disrespect for federal employees and firing people, in mass and without reason and without cause, and the complete chaos and flip of the head of any kind of job security for a federal employee, including lawyers. And then, of course, the public service. You see that he's using the Civil Rights Division instead of actually going after hate groups, instead twisting it and trying to use it to silence free speech across the country and against universities. You see it by him trying to take away people's citizenship with a DOJ memo literally going out to offices across the country saying that they should look into whether or not to strip people of their citizenship. These are the things lawyers are seeing. These are why they are leaving in droves. And so instead you have people who have, like Jeanine Pirro, a vastly political idea of what law and order should be. And at the same time, the lawyers who carry out the work from a day-to-day business leaving. And as a result, you are seeing complete incompetency. Of course, it takes a little bit of measure of good faith, let's say, or a little bit of hope to see the incompetence on full display when they try to go after people who should not have been prosecuted to begin with. This just actually happened in Los Angeles. They had tried to prosecute a TikToker who actually had been shot by ICE. And the DOJ, handled the case so badly, so incompetently that his case was outright dismissed by a judge. One, they failed to allow him access to counsel. One of the most basic, fundamental rules of law. It doesn't matter how many years you've practiced. You understand everybody has a right to counsel. They also failed to comply with discovery requests. The thing is, no matter what kind of law you're doing, criminal law, civil law, there's always deadlines. There's always discovery requests. Each party seeks information that only the other party has, and you have to turn it over on a timely basis. This is something every lawyer deals with all the time. Well, according to the judge, they did not turn over body cam footage on a timely matter. One, that's either complete incompetence because they don't have lawyers doing the job anymore because so many have left because Bondi and DOJ and Jeanine Pirro are just clearly politically, not trying to actually go after law and order. But secondly, maybe because the body cam footage was going to exonerate the person they were trying to prosecute. Either way, this incompetency at least is redeeming when it is going against a political indictment, because people should not have the weight of the government and the power of law enforcement to go against them, to silence free speech, to quell protest. That is the most fundamental part of our democracy. Take a listen at just this recent dismissal because of the vast incompetency of the DOJ.
A federal judge has dismissed an indictment against a TikTok streamer shot by a federal agent in October in South LA. That judge says Carlitos Ricardo Parias, who goes by Richard LA, was denied access to his lawyers while being held in detention. The judge also cites the government's failure to meet discovery deadlines, including timely release of body camera footage of the shooting. Agents accused Parias of ramming his car into their vehicles after they boxed him in, but video raises some serious questions about those claims. His trial was set to begin on Tuesday. The judge dismissed the indictment with prejudice, meaning prosecutors cannot refile the same charges again. But Parias could remain in detention as his immigration case moves forward.
Jeanine Pirro was willing to do Trump's bidding even before she was appointed as the U.S. attorney. Back when she had her own show during the 2020 election, she was one of the biggest perpetrators talking about it being stolen when in fact it was not. And during the Dominion lawsuit, so much came out that she actually lost her own show and instead had to be part of the Roundtable 5 conversation. A producer had said that she was, quote, a reckless maniac, that she was that bad at fact checking. She was willing to talk about complaints that had been dismissed outright, saying that those affidavits were still viable facts news sources. The fact is, even Fox, who is so unwilling to put out biased and misinformation that they had to pay out nearly $1 billion in that Dominion lawsuit, even they thought she was taking it too far, that this producer at Fox called her a reckless maniac as to her willingness to put on information that was not facts. And even Fox thought she had gone too far to take away one of her show. But that was a redeeming quality for Trump. And I'm sure a big reason why he appointed her as U.S. attorney. But the fact that you cannot get around is that if you are so unwilling to work within facts and reality and the rule of law, and you take that against our criminal justice system that has a robust checks and balances in place in order to determine that somebody cannot be convicted with actual facts and rule of law, you see the disintegration of their indictment rate. This high 21% dismissal rate compared to 0.5%, this vast anomaly. You see, this is what happens when you put somebody in charge of the law and use it against people in a way where you use it abusing your power. When you use it disregarding facts and law, you see this high dismissal rate. Thankfully, though, it is protecting people against their incompetency, against their willingness to use their power to abuse them. If you haven't yet subscribed to the MeidasTouch Network, be sure to do that. Find the Mistrial podcast wherever you do. Find the Mistrial sponsors. So grateful for those that sponsor us because they never censor what I have to say, which is so incredibly important in this moment.
Love this video? Support independent media and unlock exclusive content, ad-free videos, and custom emojis by becoming a paid member of our YouTube channel today. You can also gift memberships to others. Let's keep growing together.